filling her up. It's making a hell of a lot more boost than it was before. To be fair, I have hooned it everywhere. Did I hear someone say boost it? Look, that is the boost cut. Making... Oh shit, what was that? Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. As always, back down the garage. We always start a video down the garage, don't we? A good video always starts back down the garage. Anyway, what did you guys see in the last video? Let's recap. So we took Little Red out, went live mapping, and it was pretty successful. We got reasonably good mapping. It started getting the cruise tune and stuff into place. Still, you know, milestones to be made, and then making lots of horsepower and making it as fuel efficient as it can be, all that business. But yeah, good progress nonetheless. Few things we found. We weren't getting anywhere near 100% throttle. In fact, I think 68% throttle was the very most we saw at a peak, and usually, and most of it was sort of limited to 50% throttle. So two things, it goes really, really well at 50% throttle. So you can imagine what it goes like at 100% throttle. And I will be honest with you, at this point, I have already taken the car out 100% throttle, and it does go a hell of a lot better. Anyway, basically the problem was to do with this throttle linkage wasn't quite clearing where it needed to clear. So taking it all apart, basically amended where this, you can see this little bolt here now sort of holds in a different place. We had to sort of cut this and weld this and adjust that a little bit, basically just to get enough throw on that end. And then inside the car, let me just move the bike out of the way. That's what I used to waste all my money on before I bought this thing. Yeah, so in here it's a little bit dark. Let me just pop the lights on. Let's put that on there, twist that around there, we go. Right, lights are on. So, and then down here, this linkage used to sit inside the pedal box, and basically it just wasn't travelling far enough round to get to 100% throttle. So what I've done is I've sort of made this little bit of a contraption up here with some spaces and nut and bolt to move everything to the outside, and now it goes 100% all the way, as it should do. So yeah, we now have 100% throttle, which is ideal, is it not? So that's the first thing I want to show you guys this evening. The second thing I want to show you guys this evening, and you've already seen the clip in the intro, but we took the wastegate off the other night, and instead of one spring in it, it's now got two springs in it. Don't quite know what amount of pressure it's going to make, because my wastegate is a tile, but it is one of those tiles that come from China. So when you buy a genuine tile, you get a number of springs with it, and they've all got a different colour on them, and you get a spring chart that tells you what springs or what poundages and what colours to mix to make what boost. I've just got 3 springs in varying sizes, all that are black. There's one really tiny spring, which I think is still in the box. Let's have a look. Yeah, there's one little tiny spring that comes with it. And then there's 2 slightly bigger springs. I had what I thought was the biggest single spring in it, and it was making, after it started off making sort of 5.8 pounds of boost, and after a bit of use it sort of led off a bit, so I'm assuming the spring's probably softened, getting used to it, but seems to have settled down at about 4.8 pounds of boost. Now, whilst at the moment we're not looking to make an unbelievable amount of boost, because a number of things, stock bottom end, as you know, Herbie's Diner is a week away, and I don't want to break this before Herbie's. Also, we are still on standard beige injectors. Now, standard beige injectors aren't going to be able to handle much over 200 horsepower because they just won't flow enough fuel. Anyway, we can crank the fuel pressure up on the regulator a little bit to maybe squeeze a little bit out of them. But we're not going to make a massive amount of power on them, and we're not going to be able to handle a massive amount of boost, and we will run out of injector at some point. But having said that, I have taken the wastegate apart and I've put a second spring in it. It might make £10, it might make £20, it might don't know. Really don't know what it's going to do. So the plan this evening is we're going to take it back out on the road and we'll just keep a gentle eye on it. We'll set the boost cut at a reasonable level. It'll either make a decent amount of boost and we'll be happy with where it is, or it'll make too much. If it makes too much, well, we just need to take a spring back out of it, try a different sort of setup with the springs, and eventually I'll work out what springs are what. And then once I get a good bass tune in it, a bass pressure in there, I'll get a boost controller hooked up at some point into the ECU, because I haven't got the solenoid or anything at the moment. But that's what we're going to do for now. So yeah, that's swapped. Waiting for Dean to get down here. Third thing I'm going to show you tonight, whilst we're waiting for Dean to arrive, is our little alternator pulley assembly down here. Now, those of you that have watched a number of my videos would have seen in one of them, we had quite a lot of sparks come out of down here at one point, where a bolt had backed out and hit this water pump pulley, and it was like all out here. Exactly like that. It's exactly how it sounded. Now, what's happening when the car is running is it's pulling the belt now. Obviously, we sorted that problem out, don't you worry about that. But it's pulling the belt over really tight, and the belt is starting to run into the edge of here, and it squeals like absolute buggery. So the belt's moving around, it gets loose, it squeals like there's no tomorrow. So we need to do something about it. That something is over here in this little box. Now, this is for a Audi TT V6 Quattro. No reason why I chose that one, just because it was about £8 and it was the right size and it's ribbed. We all like it ribbed. So yeah, as you can see, that there is a smooth pulley, this is a ribbed pulley. So the idea is I'm going to swap that pulley over with this pulley. This ribbed pulley will keep the belt in check, and then we can just tension the belt up, and hopefully that will be the end of the squealy belt situation. So yeah, I'm going to crack on and do that. Oh, the other thing I need to do whilst we were out the other night driving around, found out that underneath here there's an injector wire that I never soldered. I don't know how well you guys can see it because it's quite small, but there is a little injector wire that's just twisted together. No solder, no heat shrink, nothing. Quite lucky it hasn't arced out or shorted on anything, but I also need to quickly solder that and heat shrink it before we go back out on the road. But I'm going to get those things done, and I will join you guys in just a second when we are making a few adjustments on the ECU, and we're about to go out, get some petrol, go do some more live mapping.
A few moments later.
Okay, very quick, very simple, very easy. Old pulley removed, just like that. Like I said, smooth pulley, and new ribbed pulley installed. The new ribbed pulley is a little bit bigger as well, which has actually helped with the tension on the belt, but the belt is now nice and tighter than it used to be. So quickly turn the car over a couple of times, make sure the belt sits in place. Then we'll start it up and check two things. One, that the belt doesn't squeal anymore like it did do before, but B, also that the wastegate is not blowing since we've put that back on, because I haven't actually run the car since we put the wastegate back in. So, right, that's on, take that off. Let's give it a go, shall we? Well, I can't hear the belt squeaking. The exhaust is a bit rattly, but deal with that in a minute. Right. Yeah, the belt seems to be working all right on there. The alternator's bouncing around a little bit. Might need to have a look at that, make sure that's tight, but check the wastegate whilst we're there. It doesn't sound like it's blowing, it actually sounds alright. Climbing over Dean's roll cage. It does sound to me like it is. That's blowing quite a lot. Right, turn the engine off then. Have a look at why that wastegate is blowing. I know why it's blowing, because it's a right pain in the arse to get on and off. And I can actually hear myself speak now. have a look at why that wastegate is blowing, get that sorted, and this seems to be fairly well sorted, but I need to sort that alternator out because it seems to have pulled over at a funny angle and it's kind of like flexing about on its mount a little bit. So I need to have a look at that. But one job fairly successfully done. Right, let's have a look at that wastegate. Right, we are ready to go. Dean is down the workshop now. We're about to jump in, buttoned a few last little bits up, put the hot tune in it. It's also my application for McFarlane Tuning, so I'm kind of hoping that it works out. Set the boost cut to 160 kPa, which is roughly £10 a boost, give or take. So hopefully we'll see what it makes. I don't know what it's going to make on those springs. And just in time, Dean arrived and then the rain turned up as well.
Brought it with me.
So it's now not the best weather, but we're going to go out anyway, have some fun in the rain, go from there. Filling her up.
Taking its time.
16 quid, I've only put 10 litres in so far.
That's 14.
That's it.
There we go, 14 litres, full
14
tank.
litres. That means I've used 14 litres in it just the other night. To be fair, I've hooned it everywhere.
There we go, it's a 20 litre fuel tank.
Take your guesses on how many fill-ups you reckon it's going to take to get to Cambridge and back next weekend.
There you go, people.
You want anything from the shop?
No, I'm good, thank you, mate. There we go. So, bets in. How many times are we going to have to stop to get to Cambridge and back again? Or how many jerry cans we have to take? I want answers in the comments below.
Right, so we've got it up to temp, done a little bit. It's making a hell of a lot more boost than it was before. So far we've seen £8, but it sounded like it was about to go to the moon, didn't it?
Yeah.
It's just coming up to a dual carriageway. We'll give it a bit of a boost on the dual carriageway, but it's so wet, it just blows the tyres off. And you just give it a second gear pull here. Ready? 9. Saw 9. Yeah, that hit the boost cut then. Feel it?
Oh, yeah, I saw 9.
That hit the boost cut, making too much boost. Making way too much boost. What was the fuel looking like at £8?
I'll be honest, I was keeping an eye on the boost pressure, not the fuel.
I'll give it a little bit of the beans along here, we'll just see if it's going lean at £10. Just conscious I don't want to run out of injector.
Status update. Kieran lost a screamer pipe. He's had a look under the bonnet. It's not there. We did see something that resembled some sort of piece of exhaust up on the road. Just having a quick look, sort of drive back round. So that would appear to be what it was. So just wait for Kieran to run up the road and come back with it. Hopefully nothing major.
Right, just back from running up the road to go and retrieve what fell off. Whole screamer pipe fell off, just bounced out underneath the car. It's still kind of in one piece. Don't know where the V-band is. The V-band's long gone, can't see that. But yeah, screamer pipe fell off. So looks like for the rest of the evening we're going to be driving with no screamer pipe. fun. Right, okay, let's get back on the road and do a bit more testing then. Never a dull moment, is there?
There we go. There we have it.
It wasn't a rod-proof block.
No, that's true. True. Nothing more sinister apart from a piece of exhaust falling off again.
Did you say sorry?
Just nothing more sinister than your exhaust falling off again. It's not the
happened. That's not that happened last time, didn't it? Well, that was the whole exhaust we lost last time.
That was indeed.
All right. Well, at least that's fine. I mean, it's not like the wastegate was opening anyway because we were hitting £10 a boost. So we need to change the springs. So we're not going to be doing any wide open throttle tuning tonight, but we can still go and tune the cruise a little bit, can't we?
Yeah.
Sort that sort of stuff out. So, of course, it stopped raining now as well. As soon as the screamer pipe falls off and the weather starts to look good,
That's it.
it falls off. Right, okay. Just getting over my cardiac arrest. Just getting over COVID as well. Turns out the last video that you was watching, me and Dean both had COVID. We'll have the charge cooler on, I think. Send current tuner studio settings.
There we go.
That's it. Right. Let's go then.
Turn us off for a minute.
Just keep it rolling. You never know, something else might fall off. I don't want to miss that. Faster than your A class, mate. Can't get it in gear though.
No, it's not a little bit.
It's a lovely sound when it starts to come on boost, isn't it? ride, did it? Just sat there burning the tyres off.
Still just...
The Ego's trying to take a lot of fuel out there and a lot of fuel in. What sort of charge temps are we seeing under boost?
Still got 12, 13 at the moment.
What, whilst we're under boost?
I haven't looked at boost.
I'll put some boost through it and put second and third along here now. Just keep your eye on it, see what the temperature gets to.
Right.
Right, back in the garage. Just having a little Stella Artois to calm the old shakes, but I don't know. What do you reckon?
We're back in one piece.
Back in, well,
maybe.
We're back and we've got all the pieces. Not necessarily in one piece.
Not all the pieces.
No, not all the pieces. We lost the V-band. The V-band's long gone. Don't know where that is. So here's the crux of it.
Successful night.
Very successful night. Making way too much boost. I mean, once that comes third gear, £5,000, that's ready to go to the moon, isn't it? I mean, at that point, we're already making £10 a boost. And it hits the cut so hard. It's not like it's creeping up on the cut, so it's not like we're making... I mean, the hysteresis is 10 kPa. So we can make 10, I think it's like 10.2 pounds of boost if you convert it to PSI, something like that. But, so it's not like we're rolling up on that. We're hitting that cut hard because it puts you in the seat, doesn't it? Once you hit that cut, straight away. Hits the cut straight away. So general consensus is the big spring's coming out and this tiny one's going to go back in it. Once it's cooled down, of course, because it's very, 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 very hot right now. So, yeah. We're now making the sort of boost. This is the first time I've driven this car tonight. In all my years of owning it, with this engine, with the naturally aspirated engine. There we go. And thought to myself, fuck me, this is fast. I mean, we didn't video the last bit, did we, as we came back towards the garage?
No,
but the weather started to... We probably should have done, really, because the weather started to dry up, actually, and it started to hook. She was hooking real good. Quite good. Because, well, you saw in that where we took it off the traffic lights, I was in the top end of 4th, I think, before it gripped. As it started to dry up, it was quick, wasn't it? It was.
We can always go back up the path and ask the guys that stood outside watching it whether they got any.
They enjoyed it. They
enjoyed the show.
They enjoyed the show, definitely.
They might have a video or two.
Yeah, she made some jam. She made some jam, didn't it? And we've not run out of this. I think this is the crux of it, right? big turbo. We're making, I hit the boost cut at £5,000, there or thereabouts, on each gear. We're making £10 of boost on a turbo of that size.
£5,000.
Well, you're making £10 at that point, so we're well in, into it's about 3.5, 4 when you can hear it start to really whistle on, which was the goal. We're using the ITBs, wasn't it? Using the ITBs, make your charge cooler setup and everything was to have a big turbo but minimal lag.
That low down drivability, wasn't it?
The low down drivability. We've been up and down the motorway a few times tonight. We tuned the cruise really nice, tried to get the fuel in right. We're cruising at about 13.5. There's a few spots in it still, isn't there? But we're getting there.
There's a few.
The crux of the big thing I wanted to do tonight was be able to get it on the motorway and be happy, because in 1 week, week and a bit,
just over a week,
is obviously Herbie's Diner Fiesta 123 meet. Will be the first meet that we've taken the car to in 8 years.
Yeah.
8 years, and it is a hour and, depending on traffic, half 45-hour minute drive.
It's a long way to go.
Quite a long way to go in a car that's not very well tested. So that was my thing tonight, was to get the car out on the motorway, get some cruising in it, and it cruises quite nicely. It's noisy, it's loud, it's always going to be loud. But with some ear defenders or some little earplugs in, it's not an uncomfortable ride, it's not bouncy, it's not judder, it's not a bone breaker, is it?
No.
And to be fair, even if I need, I could back the suspension off a couple of notches on the damper anyway, soften it up if I wanted to. I don't think we really need to, do we?
A cushion.
And we just need a cushion, yeah, for those seats. And it's not slow, is it? So, on that note, as Mr. Clarkson would say, no, what did he say? On that bombshell, insert Jeremy Clarkson face here. On that bombshell, I'm going to call this video it. And the next video you guys are going to see will probably be Herbie's, won't it? That is another successful Little Red Fiesta video done and dusted. I will see you guys next week at Herbie's Diner.